All right, folks, so it's time for part 2, and starting on part 2 of this Re-Amiga 3000 build. We are at the stage where we got the last time a clock signal. I've already put these 2 ICs here because we needed the reset for whenever we're going to test other stuff. Right now we need to put in a socket for Gary and Fat Agnes. And well, cool thing about that, let me show you. I got a chipset. I got a full chipset pretty much.
Okay, what's going on?
I'm a ninja.
That's not a ninja.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you're a ninja. Okay, why are you a ninja?
I'm following the way.
The way you're following you're following the
PCB way.
I can't. I'm not doing this.
PCBWay offers manufacturing services along with part assembly. They also offer a number of fantastic services like CNC, metal sheet fabrication, 3D printing, and even injection molding, turning it into a one-stop shop for all your DIY projects. So go to PCBWay, upload your project files, and get an instant quote. And thank you to them for sponsoring this video. I'm keeping the money, Ali.
In fact, I got more than a full chipset. I also got some PAL things, ton of VRAMs that go in this area, and these guys, the Open Video Hybrid thing, which is essentially a DAC. There's 2 of these, and when they work, they're fine, but there's no replacement for them other than this GitHub open source board. So I got 2 of these as well. This was sent to me by Chucky. Thank you very much, dude, for sorting me out with this. It's a lot of these are on Optimium, and I don't think I would have been able to source them any other way. So thank you so much for that, dude. Much appreciated. In fact, Chucky sent me other stuff as well, which I wanted to show here. He sent me this original daughter board for the 3000. There's repros that exist and you can actually build them. I was going to go down that road, but now I don't need to because I got one of those, which is dead handy. So this motherboard will actually come in into a giant slot that is here and comes in somewhere like that, and it just allows to plug in a lot of peripherals and boards and other things into your Amiga 3000. And in true Chucky fashion,
no, God!
He sent me the nightmares for my probably next few years.
No, God, please, no, no!
A lot more PCBs and stuff to build.
No!
Maybe this one, we'll start with this one. So this is a CD32 board. So it's reproduction of the original CD32. And again, it's quite packed. Look how tight everything is. And there's a ton of stuff on the underneath. Maybe this is the one I'll build after, once I'm done with the 3000, but one thing at a time. Here we got an Amiga 4000 repro. I think, and I'm not sure if Chucky was fully involved with this one. This was done, it says, by funded, oh, maybe it was funded by somebody, but maybe Chucky made that as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Mention that in the comments if you did, Chucky. If you're watching, I know you're watching this, you can't resist the opportunity to troll me a little more. And we got the June bug, which is essentially a repro of an Amiga 600. Now I have an Amiga 600, so I don't really need that, but it's cool to have. If I get bored, once I'm done with all of the other ones, maybe we'll do a 600. I doubt it. I have no great love for the 600, but the CD32 would be a cool one to do next. Actually, anyway, let's finish this one first. Alright, so next I got Gary and Agnes in, and we should be getting now, hopefully, here are the RGB port somewhere here. I think it's these last two pins. We should be getting sync signals for horizontal and vertical sync. So let me just, I got my oscilloscope here. Is it this one? And there you go. Got so that would be vertical sync. It's the slowest one, and horizontal sync is working perfect. Progress. Next, we got a few ICs here to populate here and there. And I think after that, we're going to start putting some of the jumpers and etc. etc. Anyway, let's populate these guys. I'm also going to put sockets. I haven't put sockets on these two guys. I can switch this off. But I am going to put sockets actually everywhere else. And maybe if these fails, eventually I'll put sockets there. But I think it's going to it'll make my life easier to troubleshoot anything or replace stuff. Right, so I got a number of ICs in, sockets for everywhere. I'm missing these guys. This is, let me think, the U253 and U254. These are 74F646. These can be a bit trickier to find. Found them on eBay, so I'm waiting for a batch of them to arrive. They're quite costly. I think they were about €7 or €8 each, so and they can actually reach more. So yeah, I think you need 6 or 7 of them or something like that. I have a small batch of 4 or 5 coming. That will do for now. We got all these ICs. I didn't socket these initially. I probably should have. I'm going to socket everything, I think. I've had a couple of you reach out and say that socketed everything, and it's fine. I can't see why it wouldn't be fine to socket everything. It adds potential trouble down the line, but also it saves on sometimes troubleshooting. You can easily replace ICs, so if it's a blank PCB with true old stuff, probably makes sense to socket everything this time. Next, we're also going to need the ROM. I'm going to put sockets for the ROM. I'm going to put diagram for now. The goal is to have diagram starting into serial like we did for the Re-Amiga 1200 first. So diagram, we also need the odd CIA. CPU, technically down the line we'll need that CPU slot, and Chucky suggests that we put this now, but these are tricky to find and I don't have one, so I'm going to need to source one. Maybe get onto Chucky at the next Fishwives. We also are going to need, the CPU anyway, the oscillator, the 50 hertz oscillator, which goes here, 50 megahertz, sorry. We can technically put a socket already for an FPU down the line. I don't have an FPU, but I'll have to source one. This is not technically needed yet at this stage anyway, so we'll see. But I think at this stage we should few jumpers. Anyway, let's put the sockets in first and worry about the rest. All right, so we've got our CPU in. I put a socket for an FPU that I have on order, and I put the a 50 hertz clock here. Is that for the CPU? I'm not sure exactly which clock does what. I think this is probably for Agnes, and I think this is a CPU clock. I could be wrong. Doesn't matter, because we now have our serial port connected, and if I power this on, we are booting through diagram through outputting through the serial as we did before. Now it's expected that serial test will fail. There's no RAM installed, so all the RAMs are going to fail. But we now have a booting system of sorts. It's booting at least to whatever is in there. So that's really encouraging. I did find the jumper setup here tricky. Let me switch stuff, and actually this should be through here, but doesn't matter too much for now. I did find the jumper setting a little bit tricky. Now on the guide it says that this one, which is 481, should actually be set to 2 and 3. However, Chucky provides a photo, and on that photo it is instead set, let me just bring this full screen. It is instead set to 1 and 2. So the closest one, you see these arrow, there's a little arrow here, that's pin 3, that's the last pin. This is 1, 2, and 3. And on the photo it's set to 1 and 2. And similarly, I can't remember, this is another one. So my advice is, when you're setting the jumpers to at least boot to the serial output of diagram for now at this stage of the build, just make sure you follow what's on the photo and not necessarily what's written on the guide, because there could be either it's confusing and I didn't quite understand, or some of them are just wrong, which is fine. We thankfully provided photos for that. But let me just reboot, because I just want to see this output again. It's just nice to see code being executed. It's especially after putting some of these IC, like soldering some stuff here and starting to put ICs down. You're never sure. It's a big step, you know, from just getting a light to actually getting some code to be executed. So you're never sure if you've done things right. It was the same for the 1200 Amiga. So delighted that this is working. It's really encouraging, and we're going to continue on this build. However, I think this video has been long enough, and you know, it's working now. I think I should leave it aside for a few days and come back to it. I'm tempted to keep going, but it's usually the stage where you know, things go wrong if you just get over a year. You know, if it ain't broke, we try again, and it will. So let's leave it for now. Let's finish this video for now. I think it's a good step to finish the video booting into the diagram. Obviously RAM is failing, but it doesn't matter. We've got first signs of life out of this Re-Amiga 3000. Folks, I hope this was interesting. I hope that maybe it can help people who want to build their own as a guide as well. But anyway, I hope this was interesting, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, there's a Patreon and YouTube membership if you want to help the channel. There's a Discord server as well. You can join that. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.